Okay,
Yeah.
enough of this. Here's some rain for you people.
Yeah, that was the only way they said that they would actually be able to put these fires out is if it rained. So I'll have to check the news this morning and see if any went out.
I hope so. Like a third
Global
of your country's on fire.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, me too. So sad. Lost
global
so much
warming is
wildlife.
real.
Global warming isn't real. It's called Australia. It's called bushfire season, darling, and it's called a very severe drought.
That doesn't mean that global warming isn't real.
This is nothing. This is
Is
look, I'm
it
talking.
real?
Excuse me. Please don't yell in my ears. I've just woke up.
Sorry.
I'm talking about bushfires in Australia.
Yeah, I understand.
Well, that's got nothing to do with what you just brought up.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't, because we've been experiencing this kind of situation in Australia since we arrived here.
Global warming makes them worse.
No, darling, it's called a drought. That's why we've had such a serious situation here in the Blue Mountains, because we haven't had rain in a very, very long time. So the scrub's really dry. It's like kindling. It's crunchy. So it only
Global
takes,
warming.
and which, excuse me, I haven't finished. It only took one lightning strike to strike the whole bush up. The reason we've got such a catastrophic fire at the moment is because of the greenies, the politicians. They fought against us backburning in the winter months. And if you look back at the history of the Australian Aboriginals, they used to go around and burn the bush in the winter so that when summer came and fire season came in Australia, this kind of thing wouldn't happen. So it's not global warming, it's greenies and silly politicians who have no idea what they're doing.
Global warming makes droughts worse. That's the point. That's the prediction made by global warming, which is that droughts and floods and other extreme weather events will be
Warming
more
is
more
not
frequent
real,
and more
because the
frequent and worse.
mathematics
Excuse me,
is-
I was
It's not-
talking. I was
You
talking.
didn't listen though, did you?
I was almost done. I was almost
No, no,
done.
but
I was almost done. It's a prediction of global climate science that droughts and floods and other extreme weather events will become either more frequent or more severe. And we're seeing that. It's observable.
breaking up.
Okay, so the weather started getting recorded in the 19 watts. And where are you getting this information from? Have you researched into Australia's bushfire seasons and how the land is here? Have you looked into bushfires and how they work in the whole ecosystem of it all?
The point is that global warming makes those
No.
extreme events more
the point
frequent
is-
and
The
worse.
point is we
Good
don't have
question.
any. The point is we don't have any recorded weather from before 19 something. I don't get where you're coming from. Who told you this story about this global warming?
Scientists. This is just well known. This is just
so
well
which
known.
scientists are these?
I'm sorry.
Well
What?
known. So which
Yes, it
scientists
is.
are these that you're quoting the global warming and you feel that they're an excellent, trustworthy scientist or
Yes.
source?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
who would that
I
be?
do. All of them.
Oh, all of them. Great. So
Yes.
if they've
That's
got a
not
PhD,
even- sorry,
if they've got a
that's
PhD at the end of their
definitely not
name, they're trustworthy. Thanks. Good to know.
No, that's not what I said. I said it is a consensus of, I think,
No, no.
99.7%
No,
of all climate scientists of all publications confirm that global
This-
warming is a fact.
No, there
the
are
climate
actually
woman.
climate scientists who are now saying, no, that's
No,
not true.
name one.
Going back.
Name
I
one.
don't know.
So you
I
can't
don't
name
know
one.
because I don't
Oh,
follow.
hold on. Sorry, you were asked to name one and you didn't.
I did. I said all of them.
You said all of them. You said 99 point make pull numbers out my ass. You didn't name
That's not
anyone.
pulled out of my ass. That's
Name one! Name one! Before you
All
hold
of
his
them.
toes to the
All
fire. No, that's all of them. That's not even a name. You know, doctor this, doctor that. Can you? Don't hold his fucking toes to the fire then, idiot.
If he might as well be doing the Abbott Costello joke. Who's on first? Who's on second? And I don't know.
Yeah, but
If she's
I
going
wanna
to
know
run
your-
the
It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant.
oh, it's irrelevant
what,
now.
No,
Irrelevant
it's
now.
not.
Yes, it's irrelevant which scientist believes this or not. The point is, it is a scientific consensus of the
No, it's
entire community.
No,
No, it isn't.
Yeah, it is.
Isn't.
Okay.
No, it isn't. My God.
We're trying to tell you
No.
that it isn't, but you're just, mouthing off, to be quite honest. You don't know what you're talking about, Brenda.
Appeal to authority.
Well, I have studies that can back up what I said.
Brenda, that was
Yeah,
appeal.
you can cherry
oh
pick.
yeah, just like the
Sure. So, well, if that's the
Rolling
case,
the
grab
donut.
the link, share it, and we'll talk about whose study it is and how they are so full of shit.
It's an appeal to authority. See, Brenda, that's an appeal to authority fallacy.
No, I'm not appealing to authority. I'm appealing to the
Therefore,
scientific
also-
evidence.
Everybody
You're
believes it.
no, actually, you're
Therefore-
appealing to consensus. Apparently, some reification of science.
No, that's how science
Yeah.
works. Science works by
No,
consensus.
science is a method that displays cause and effect. It's not people's opinions, right?
Yes, I agree. It's built
Yeah.
on a consensus. It's not
No.
opinion. It's not
No, it's
personal
got no
opinion.
science in
I
it. Then.
have a question.
That's what science is. It's built on
No,
consensus.
science isn't. No, science is a method in which you validate or invalidate your prediction of a cause through a
Yes.
test called an experiment. Not
Yes.
not an opinion. Not an opinion.
Right. Yes,
Not
I
people
agree.
standing around thinking about things.
I agree.
That's not science.
I
Yeah.
agree.
So have you got any science for this? Have you got
Yes.
any science?
Well,
Any? Have you? Have you? Give me the science.
I can just refer to the thousands and thousands of scientific peer-reviewed papers that confirm
I want-
that global warming
I don't
is
care
a
about peer
fact. There
review.
are
I want an
thousands and
experiment. I want an
thousands of
experiment.
them.
Brenda,
There are thousands of them.
If it's got science, shut up. If it's science, there'd be an experiment, not people standing around talking about shit. So you've got
Yeah.
an experiment. Where is it?
To confirm what?
Global warming.
Yeah, that's a measurement, and so we have
So
measured.
that's not science.
Yes, it
then.
is.
No,
A
it isn't.
measurement.
It's a measurement, not a demonstration of a cause and effect relationship. It's a measurement, and then it's a presupposition based on, as Becky only said earlier, about 100. I'll give you 150 years of weather research. 150 years, and you're saying that the entire globe is warming. That you've
Yes.
only got a tiny snippet of time. You all
we
know
have,
that the
we
Earth
have
goes
like
through cycles anyway.
we have
Don't we?
800,000 years of measurements of the temperature
Hey.
of the Earth.
You've got.
No, we
Wait a
don't.
minute,
No, we
bullshit.
don't. That's untrue.
Yes, we
Hang on
do.
a minute. No, stop, Brenda. Get
Yes,
on
we
that
do.
bloody Google. Listen to me. Listen. Get on that bloody Google and Google when they started recording the weather and the temperatures.
Yeah, but we can infer.
No, no, no,
we
no, no,
can
no, no,
infer
no,
past
yeah, but no, you
climates.
just told me that there
Yes.
was thousands of years of
Yes.
recorded temperatures.
Yes.
You are a liar.
It's not. It's inferred from data
You
from
are
ice core
lying.
you
are
drills
lying.
from. No, I'm not. You can infer the temperature based on evidence in the historical and geological
Guys, I have a question.
record.
listen.
Well, the thing is, Brenda, even the consensus was manufactured, and
No,
so
it's
you
not.
need to
It's
see how the
measured.
consensus was manufactured. What they
How
did
is-
was they
how
took
is it
thousands.
manufactured?
In the video I linked in the chat, a funny thing happened on the way to climate change. They talk about how they went through thousands of abstracts, and based off of the wording of the abstract without reading the actual content of the paper, they took a subset of like thousands of abstracts, and they took a subset of the ones that took a position on climate was overt, which was like I think like 100, like just a couple hundred out of thousands of abstracts, and out of that couple thousand, they went off of the wording of the abstract, positive or negative, to get some sort of a consensus. So it was a portion of a bunch of abstracts which weren't even read for the content of the paper. Very shoddy science to manufacture
That's not
a
shoddy.
consensus.
That makes perfect
Very-
sense. That makes perfect sense. Lemon.
But the thing is, this
that just makes lemon. That makes perfect sense, because if you want to know what the consensus, a scientific consensus is on an issue, you would go through, do a meta study on the abstracts and see, of those studies that take a position on global warming, those that affirm and those that disconfirm it, right? So that makes perfect sense. That's what you would do.
Brenda,
But this is the narrative, Brenda, and so
You
it
need
can
a
be
globe
propaganda.
for global warming.
So you
You
need
don't
a
have a globe.
narrative. But you need a narrative. But Brenda, the thing is, you have to know how to think about this narrative, counter narrative, propaganda, counter propaganda. Have you seen that?
I didn't hear part of that, but this is how science. This
This
is how you would do it.
For people who question the science.
This is a survey. It's a survey of existing papers published in peer-reviewed journals, and the results are that 99.7% affirm the existence of reality
Okay.
of global warming.
Well, share your sources or shut up. I'm serious. Get your source and be quiet
Cook.
because it's
It's
annoying.
you know the source. It's the Cook study.
What about the way that they cook the hockey stick graph? They cut out a
Yep.
huge segment of data to make a table-looking hockey stick graph.
Yeah.
Global warming.
Yeah, that was debunked and refuted.
It shows how the agenda is to go anti-human, get us off of meat, get us off of cars, and erect a huge controlling global government bureaucracy, which will tell whether or not you can breathe out carbon. That's just a control mechanism. That's the counter propaganda, Brenda.
That's just
Look
a
at the
conspiracy
counter-propaganda.
theory. That's just a conspiracy theory. The science doesn't say that we get off of meat. It's not a conspiracy. It's just a scientific fact.
But they can
Scientific
use
fact.
it for that,
Scientific
Brenda.
fact.
That's irrelevant
Still
to the
waiting for the
science.
references. You just told the whole room 99.7% of scientists agree
Yes.
that global warming is a thing. Well, where is your references? I've
That's
asked
Cook.
you that. You're just
That's-
talking out your ass, love.
I'm going to go find the ones that don't. Give me a minute.
The study is Cook et al. 2016.
no, but there's a lot of people who don't believe that, Brenda. You understand that, right? A lot of scientists.
It's irrelevant. And no, there's not.
Why is it irrelevant?
The consensus, the scientific consensus is that global warming is a fact.
You've
Guys,
never
I have a
seen
question.
anything
What's
about,
the-
about scientists against global warming? You've never seen that?
That's a,
All right,
what?
let's hear this new person's question because Brenda's just like going to clog this room up. New person, what was that question?
Yeah, I was gonna ask, what's the International Space Station? Because like some people say, like you can see it through a telescope.
Have you ever
So,
seen an aeroplane in the sky before?
Yeah.
Yeah, yep, okay. So that obviously zooms around up there. They put fuel in it and it flies. Okay. So have you ever seen them with the US military? They got like fighter jets and they're in the air and they literally refuel in the air.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah. Oh, stop. Sorry about that. Well, basically, I don't know what system that keeps it up, but you just have to look at aeroplanes or fighter jets and see that they are quite easily in the sky, sweetie. So this thing, the ISS that we all see, yep, we can all look it up and see, it's some kind of artificial body in the sky that is circuiting above a flat Earth. That's all it is.
We can
Yeah, but
predict
so-
its
so
motion and
fast.
exactly where it will be based on global orbital
But yeah,
data.
I get it.
No, not global. Oh my goodness. Okay, Brenda.
But we can. You can predict exactly where it's going to be at exactly which time, and it's the ISS.
Yeah, you can do
Of
that
course
with
we can. I'm not
planes, you
saying that we
do that with
can't. I can also
buses,
predict. I can also
Go on.
predict where where somebody's car is if I've got a tracker on it or my mobile phone. It doesn't mean the Earth is a globe.
Well, the reason we can predict it is because we know orbital mechanics based on
No, but
gravity
it's not
and
where it's
the,
gonna be.
Sure, Brenda. Let's just agree with everything Brenda says and then she'll go away.
Orbital
Yep,
mechanics.
sure, Brenda.
Oh, okay,
What's
that's
an orbit?
great. I love it.
What's an
Yeah,
orbit?
so
Awesome.
global
Okay.
warming is real. Global warming is real,
Nope.
and the
No,
Earth is a
you don't
globe.
have
Sure.
Yeah. Evolution is a fact.
Brenda.
The Earth is
Brenda.
4.5
Oh,
billion
wow,
years
yeah.
old.
Brenda, you're garbage, man. I swear.
Okay, so Karen B and the rest of the flat earthers do not understand how science works. Science operates by consensus, the consensus of the relevant experts, and that is how we determine what is in fact the case, whether or not something is true or not. We do not determine what is true by the opinions of men. So when Karen asked me to cite an expert, that was an appeal to authority. So for example, if I were to cite Sean Carroll, the physicist, to settle a dispute about theoretical physics, that would be an appeal to authority. If instead I cited the scientific consensus on whatever question we had, that would be an appeal to expert opinion, which is how science actually works. Science is conducted by a community of people who have spent their lives learning a subject and coming to conclusions based on the methods of science. Science is not determined by the opinions of any single scientist or man or woman. It is determined by the collective opinion of all scientists. And it's not mere opinion, because science, of course, has very strong standards for evidence and very high demands before something can be determined to be given degrees of confidence. So science works not in certainty, but in degrees of science and probability. Things are either more likely or less likely to be true. And then in the case of science, as you can see in the graphic, in 2014, the degree of confidence was 91% and is now at 100% consensus. Within the relevant experts, all agree that the science of global warming is, they have an extremely high degree of confidence. The problem is that many flat earthers are religious dogmatists and authoritarians who seem to think that what makes something true is if a man or a woman or a book in a position of authority says it's true. And this is the opposite of science. Science does not go by the opinions of any one man. It goes by the collective agreement of a community of experts. So I guess it's not surprising to that flat earthers simply do not understand the nature of science, the scientific method, and the scientific community. And pointing this out to them is extremely distressful, because they are accustomed to their religious dogmatism. But science is not religion, and it is not dogma. Science fixes the facts.